Yo, what's going on, guys? Evan Tanaka here, back with another video. In today's video, we got I Rate and Improve Your Team episode 14 or 15. I'm not sure the episode, but basically, if you guys are new to this series, you guys send me your team at Evan Tanaka 10 on Twitter, and I give you a rating out of 10. It could be a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, or even a perfect 10 out of 10. And you give me your MT amount you have at the time. So if you guys want to be in a future video, what I'm doing is I'm got to explain this real quick. So if you guys do not see your name or team in this video, I do apologize. I have begun a lot of team requests and a lot of teams sent my way. So what I'm going to do from now on is on Twitter at Evan Tanaka 10, when I'm looking for teams for a future video, for a video that I'm going to record the next day, you're going to send me your team underneath that tweet. So I'm going to tweet out looking for teams for my next looking for teams for my next I Rate and Improve Your Team series. Send your teams an empty amount down below. So make sure to follow me on Evan Tanaka 10 and make sure to turn on post notifications so when that tweet goes live and you see the tweet, you can make sure to send your team and how much MT you have below that tweet. Basically, because I've been getting teams sent in from past weeks that I'm having to go back and do, right? Because I'm getting so many teams sent in like every single day that it's hard to keep up with. So basically, I think that's an easier way to do it. So make sure to follow me on Evan Tanaka 10 on Twitter and turn on post notifications so you don't miss that tweet if you want to be in one of these future videos, or if you've already been in a video before and want to be in another video, make sure to go do that. If you guys are new here, I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe down below. I post 2 to 3 Myteam videos every single day and give some of the best no money spent content, tips, and tricks on the platform. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. So first team here is from Steven, I think it's Steven, if that's how you say his name. So come over to here, and he's got 240k MT to work with. Okay, perfect. 240k MT to work with. We've got to give him a rating out of 10. So the team, honestly, is really, really good. Not a single card in here that I don't like. So I'm gonna give this team a solid, I think I'm gonna have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. There's a few upgrades I'd make to make it, actually, I'm gonna go 9. It's very close to 9.5 out of 10. It's probably like a 9.2, 9.3. The one improvement to the 240k is if you don't have Kevin Garnett, which kind of sucks because you could really use him for backup center. The only upgrade is I would say get Hayden. And again, when you sent in this team, Hayden wasn't out. So again, that's another thing why, is because people sent in their teams a while ago and I just haven't been making videos on this in a while. So if the website will stop being super slow, I say you get this new Mystic James Hayden. You probably may have actually picked him up because again, you were thinking, okay, he's probably better than my Donovan Mitchell. So I'd recommend picking up James Hayden. And then Isaiah Thomas is still really good. I would recommend you try to get Steve Francis. Again, with this team and the glitch where you don't actually have to win 10 in a row, I'm pretty sure you can get Steve Francis. Should be pretty easy, so I'd recommend you get Steve Francis for your team. He could be a really, really good backup point guard, and then you got 2 really, really solid backup point guards. Again, if you can get John Morant, get John Morant instead of Steve Francis as well. But other than that, I think you should hold off. Just get James Harden. He's really, really good. So thank you, Steven, for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Proven, and he sent me his team on Twitter. And how much MT did he say he has? He has 1 million MT. Okay, so his team is honestly pretty good. The only thing I noticed that I don't really like is this Clyde Drexler. So rating out of 10, I can only give you a 9 out of 10 because I feel like Clyde Drexler is not that good. I would recommend you pick up this Mystic James Harden. I think he's a lot better than Clyde Drexler in every single way. And if you have 1.1 million MT, there's no really auctionable set. I mean, there is a better auctionable centers. The person I would go is, I really like the Sabonis card. So I would get rid of Myteam and I would go the Sabonis. I think he's a lot better center than George Myteam. So I'd probably pick up him for backup center. And I think your lineup is pretty much good to go. You could look at Giannis if you really want to improve the team over AK, but that's a big upgrade I probably wouldn't recommend doing. So thank you, Proven, for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Payton, and he sent me his team on Twitter, of course. Let me go find his thing. So how much MT does he have to work with? So he's got 40k to work with. Okay, so how much does he have in the top right? Only 4k. So it looks like he made some improvements. What improvement did he make? He bought James Harden. Okay. I'm just gonna look at his team. We'll see if there's anything he should really change. And looking at his team, there's nothing really he should change, to be honest, with only 4,000 MT. So I'm just gonna give you a rating out of 10. Your rating out of 10. This team's a really solid team. I'm gonna give you an 8.5 out of 10. It is a very, very, very solid team. So thank you, Payton, for sending in your team. Again, couldn't really give you an improvement. You only had 4,000 MT, but this is definitely a really good squad. 8.5 out of 10. Thank you for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Givable or Ungivable or something like that. Again, apologize if I say your name wrong. He's got 46k MT to spare or to work with. That's perfect. Okay, so this is a team we do have to improve a lot. Okay, so rating out of 10. There's a lot of cards that aren't usable, like Kyrie Irving. Kawhi Leonard's decent. Ibaka's okay. LeBron's okay, but honestly, not that good. Porzingis, decent, good. Gary Harris is not that good. So a lot of improvements to be made, and here we're gonna go. Okay, so this is so rating out of 10. I'm gonna give you a 7.5 out of 10. It's an average team. It might be like a 7 out of 10. So with 46 KMT, this team can make a massive turnaround. The first thing we're going to do is get rid of Diamond LeBron. You don't need Diamond LeBron, just get Ruby LeBron. There's pretty much no difference in the cards, especially with you only having that much amount of MT and not bad of a team, but not the greatest of team. You don't really need that Diamond LeBron. If you like the LeBron card, just get Ruby LeBron James. It's basically the same card. Now, Josh Smith is going to go instead of Porzingis. And then instead of Porzingis, we're actually going to sell Porzingis, and you should be able to get some sort of MT back for him. And we're going to pick up that Z Wang card. He's actually really good. I think he's better than Porzingis. He's better than Josh Smith, and he's only about, maybe right now he's probably 3,000 to 4,000 MT. So we'll count him as 3,000 MT. So we still have 43,000 MT to work with. Now for your team, we probably should keep Glenn Robinson and Kawhi. So we're going to keep them. We're definitely getting rid of Kyrie Irving, and we're going to pick up Marcus Smart. I'm pretty sure Marcus Smart still sits around 5,000 MT, so we're going to take 5,000 MT off 43, so 38,000 MT left to work with, and now you got two really solid point guards, two really solid shooting guards. Not two really solid shooting guards. The one shooting guard you're going to want to pick up is this Donovan Mitchell for about, honestly, you could probably get Donovan Mitchell for less than 10,000 MT, but I'll count it as 10,000 MT. So now we have 28,000 MT left to get one singular power forward, and I don't think you need to spend all of your MT. I would just go Sadiq Bey. I don't think you need to spend, all of your MT and go crazy, but this is a really solid budget team, and I would give this probably a 8 out of 10 squad, maybe a 7.5, but it is definitely a big improvement from the squad that you just had. So yeah, thank you Givable for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from, I'm going to mess this name up, Leaveon. I'm going to call you Leaveon. Again, apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. So he sent his team on Twitter. How much MT does he have? 200 KMT is his budget. Okay, so that's perfect. 200 KMT, told me his MT amount. Okay, so rating out of 10, Joe Barry-Carroll is just terrible. So the rest of the team is pretty good. I would give this team an 8 out of 10 just because of that Joe Barry-Carroll. He's not even a usable card. And with 200,000 MT, you just shouldn't have him on the lineup. So first off, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 probably. I'll give it an 8 maybe. 7.5, 8, somewhere around there. Probably 7.5, leaning more towards. So the first thing I would do to improve is you really need to improve the center positions. What I would do is get rid of both of your centers. Okay, and then your starting center is going to be George Mikan. So you're going to sell Porzingis, and you're going to sell, who's your backup center? You can't sell him, but get rid of Joe Barry-Carroll and sell Porzingis. And for your starting center, you're going to pick up George Mikan. And for your backup center, you're going to get that new ZZ Wang. I'm going to apologize saying his name wrong, because again, not too good with that type of language. Okay, so those are our two centers. Power forwards are good. I like Rocco and AK. Small forwards are, good enough. Jaylen Brown and Mikal Bridges, and then Klay Thompson and Matisse is, they're good. So I think, honestly, if you want to make a big upgrade to really help your team off the bench offensively, I think getting Harden would be amazing for the squad. It is going to cost you around probably 60 to 70,000 MT, plus George Mikan's about 40,000 MT right now, so it's going to be about 100 to 110,000 MT. Plus Z's like nothing. So about, you got 200k MT to work with. I think this will help your squad out a lot. I think Mike Conley's fine enough for now. I wouldn't run Mike Conley. I would run Marcus Smart, but you probably like Mike Conley enough to use him. But I would definitely get George Mikan and get Harden. And now this team is a solid 8, probably 8.5 out of 10. So thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here, some C4 opening. I think that's how you say his name. Let me go find his tweet. Okay, or his DM message. So he sent me his team. And I don't think he is 120 KMT, but he sent a new team. So let me see how much MT is in the corner. So we got 85,000 MT. That's what we'll work with. Okay, so 85,000 MT, KMT. How much? His rating out of 10, honestly, I like every card on this team. There's not a card I do not like. So I'm going to give this team a solid 8 out of 10. It's a very good squad with 85k MT. In this team, there's nothing too crazy I would upgrade. The only difference I would do is I would pick up Harden over Jaylen Brown, and then I would move, I'd probably go Harden and then go this, to be honest. Because again, I feel like you need a bit more offense on the starting lineup, because if you have DeRozan, I don't know who the hell's scoring the ball for you. DeRozan's just a spot up, so I think you need to get Harden there to really help you on offense. And that's going to take up about 60 to 70k MT out of your 80. So honestly, I think the rest of the squad is fine. It's good enough. It's good to go. I think Hayden is just going to really help your offense for your starting lineup and give you a great guy to go to on the offensive end. So thank you, C4, for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Hayden, and he sent his team in a couple times. So he's got 1.6 million MT, and he runs offense through Clay and James, runs 3 and D players around him, current gen. I don't think the gens really make a huge difference, but I understand what you're saying. Okay, so he's got 1.6 million MT to work with. This is crazy. Okay, so the rating out of 10 is a very solid team. It's like almost a 9. There's just you don't have the best centers in the game. You have like the best point guard. It's a very, very solid team, but I'm gonna have to give you it would be like more like an 8.8, but I'm gonna have to give you an 8.5. I'm gonna give you a 9. I'm gonna give you 9 out of 10. I'm gonna give this squad a 9 out of 10. I'm assuming you have 1.6 million MT and you're not trying to spend it, you're just trying to save it. The only upgrade I would make though is I think you should try to upgrade a center position. I think you should go out and get yourself a D-Rob. I'm not gonna lie, I think you really need that better center off the bench. Flashy D-Rob, and then I think you really need it. If you don't have KG, then I think you really need David Robinson, and then I'd probably do this. I think that's gonna help your squad out a lot. Other than that, if you don't want to buy D-Rob, I think your squad is fine. I'll give you a 9.9 out of 10. Thank you for sending your team, Hayden. On to the next one. Next team here is from David, and he sent me his team on Twitter. How much MT does he have? Let's see. No MT said here. Okay, he's got 90k in the top right. That's what we're going to work with. So he's got 90k MT to work with. And his squad rating out of 10 is probably going to be a 7 out of 10. It's not a terrible team, but you just have that bench. Like Dennis Rodman's not even usable in my opinion. John Draden's okay. Jokic is okay. It's like a 7 out of 10 squad for me. So what I'm going to do to fix it with 90k MT, there's a bunch of stuff we can do. I think the position we're going to start with is we're going to start with the center position. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick up a George Mikan, and we're going to pick up a ZZ, whatever his name is. So you probably got George Mikan for about 40,000 MT, so we have 50,000 MT left. And then I would get the ZZ guy off the bench. I think those are two really, really good centers. You definitely want to improve this backup 4 position. And I think Saddiq Bey is a great, great option. You also could look at Jonathan Isaac, but I think I'm going to recommend Jonathan Isaac for the 3 here off the bench instead of Kawhi. So I think we're going to go Jonathan Isaac right here. And then you probably might actually want to put Saddiq Bey at the 3 and put Jonathan Isaac at the 4. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to move Matisse up to here to give us a little bit more offense off that bench with Donovan Mitchell. And then we have Steve Francis to kind of run the offense on the starting lineup. And I think that's pretty much good to go. David, thank you for sending your team. These are improvements I would make. This is a very solid 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10 squad. Thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from I'm Sir Dialect. Okay, very interesting name. Okay, so he sent to me his team on Twitter, and he doesn't say how much MT he has. How much he's in the top right? He's got 300k in the top right, so that's what we're gonna work with. He's got 300k MT and this team to work with. Looks to be a really good team here. Rating out of 10. I think this team is a solid 9. I think I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's a very, very good team. It's just I feel like there's a couple upgrades you could make. Like personally, I would rather Harden over Tracy McGrady. There's definitely need a power forward position. So for that power forward position, again, with only 300 KMT to work with, I'd probably go Kirilenko. Just get AK. I think that's a pretty big upgrade for your squad. I think that's all you really need to do. Sir Dialect. I think that's all you really need to do. Very, very solid team. Thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Nick, and he sent his team a bunch of times. I already know he's got a really good team. He's got 150 KMT to work with. More just want to show off his team, give him a rating, and then maybe give him one upgrade. But don't even think I'm going to really even give him an upgrade. So he's got Gary Payton, Klay Thompson, Paul Silas, Giannis, David Robinson, Steve Francis, Tracy McGrady, Paul George, AK, and Kevin Garnett. He's got 120 KMT to work with, or 150K, but his rating out of 10, I think I'm going to have to give it a 9.5. I think, because Paul Silas is really good, Giannis, David Robinson, KG, AK, Paul George, Gary Payton, Steve Francis. Like, this team is very, very solid. I'm going to give this team 9.5 out of 10. 150 KMT, can't really do anything with this type of team, so I'm not going to really suggest anything. I mean, you honestly, you know what you could do, Nick, actually, is you could pick up John Wall. I think he's a good amount better than Steve Francis. So, and John Wall is less than 150K right now, so you could pick up John Wall, and that will really help you off the bench. Gives a bit more defense and a bit more not athleticism, but a bit more defense and size. He's a little bit bigger. I think he's 6'4" compared to Steve Francis, who looks tiny on the court. So that's the one improvement I would make, is probably try to get Joao for less than 150 KMT. But thank you for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Panda, and he sent me his team on Twitter. Let's see how much MT does he got? 20k MT to work with right now. Okay, so this team is a 6.5 out of 10. It's not a very, very good team, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, but that is why you send in your teams, for me to help you improve your squad. So we're going to have to think of the most budget cards here, because we're going to need a bunch of players. We're going to get rid of pretty much most people on this squad. I'm going to get rid of Brandon Ingram. We're probably going to keep Hawk, just because I don't think there's a good backup budget center for your price range that we can afford. So for the backup 2, we're going to pick up Myteam. I think that is a really, really good card. I always recommend Myteam for a lot of people's squads. I think Myteam is really, really good. I think for the starting lineup, I think we're going to go the Sadiq Bey and the Jonathan Isaac route. I think that's a really, really good combo there. It gives you a bit of offense, and then gives you that lockdown defender in Jonathan Isaac. And for that shooting guard, there's a bunch of different ways you could go. It's hard because there's a bunch of different ways. Like, I would say Donovan Mitchell. I just don't know if he's in your price range. Was there any Mystic cards that came out that were good, cheap shooting guards? OJ Mayo's not bad, to be honest. I think I am going to recommend OJ Mayo. He's actually pretty solid. He can play the 2, right? He's small forward shooting guard. I actually really like the look of that OJ Mayo. Yeah, shooting guard, small forward. I really like the look of OJ Mayo. He's kind of like a JR clone. And then instead of Derrick Rose, I would pick up Marcus Smart. And I think your team is pretty complete there. I think that team went from literally a 6.5 out of 10 to a very, very solid 7.5. Maybe a 7, but probably a 7.5 out of 10 team. Thank you, Panda, for sending your team. I would definitely make all these changes. Thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Last team we got here is from, I'm going to mess this up, Joao. Definitely just messed it up completely. And apologize if I said your name wrong. This is the last team we got for the video, and let's see where his name is. Where's his name? Is it down here? Did I miss it? Here it is. I missed it. He's got, didn't say how much MT he has. Did say I have one of the only 2K YouTubers that doesn't have an annoying voice, so that I said it was the best compliment. But anyways, he's got 7,500 MT to work with, so not much MT to work with. He does look like he's got a very, very good squad here. At least a good starting lineup. He's only got 4 people on the bench, so I got to figure out that. He's got Gary Payton, though, Klay Thompson, Trace McGrady, Giannis, Hakeem. Very, very good starting lineup. Maybe close to the best starting lineup in the game. I'd probably get rid of T-Mac and Hakeem and replace it for like D-Rob and like Paul George. But a very, very good starting lineup. I'm going to rank your starting lineup at 9.5 out of 10. Your bench, I don't know how to rank. You only have 4 players. I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10. It's a very good 4 cards. I mean, Moses is good. Curry's okay. Harden and Dikembe are really good, but it's kind of hard to rank it. So what I would do is sell Moses, move Dikembe to the 5, and then let's say you have like, I don't know, maybe 30,000 MT from selling Moses Malone, maybe 40,000 MT. So you can definitely do some sort of stuff with 40,000 KMT. And what I would probably do is I would probably go Mikal Bridges. And Mikal Bridges is still really, really good. And then for that backup 4, I'd probably try to get Batum. He may be too expensive for this price range, but I would try to get Batum. I don't know why Bey didn't go in. Let me put Bey in here. Mikal Bridges. I would definitely get Mikal Bridges and try to get Batum if possible. And I think that team, well, at least rounds itself out. It makes it a lot better. So thank you, Joey. That's, again, sorry if I said your name wrong. Thank you for sending your team. And that is it for the team, guys, for the not for the Nomi spend, for the I-rate and improve your guys' team. Hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.